lot of people have been asking me to continue the Rags to Riches series, so that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this video with Rags to Riches 4. Make sure you guys go ahead and watch all the previous Rags to Riches videos first, as it will help you guys understand the progression of this series way more. With that being said, make sure you guys subscribe, as it actually just helps me out a ton. Now before we actually get into the video, I don't want to spoil it or anything, but you guys are going to want to watch this one the entire way through, as we actually get something crazy at the end. Now let's hop over to the marketplace and pick up where we left off on the last video. So if we look at our account here, we can see that we have 6,087 credits, and for some reason I tried to buy this Shifting Tides uniform, but I don't actually remember doing that, and it's not in the previous video, so we're just going to ignore that for now. But basically everything that I bought in previous videos is now sold, and this is the credits that we're left with. If we go over to our inventory, we can see that we basically have no valuable items here, but what I am going to do is just go ahead and quickly just sell all of these for what I can. Before we get into the purchase orders, I just want to see how much credits we can get in total, so then we can actually start buying some really decent items that go for a decent amount of credits. So as we can see here, I've now sold 5 items on my account, and these are all just sitting here pending now, so we're actually going to get into buying some items. Basically, I'm just going to have a browse and see what I might think is valuable. So I've come across Gingerbread, which is actually a really decent skin, and I've bought on a few other accounts before. It's never failed to make me credits in the past, and it's actually just really cheap at the moment. So what I am going to do is I'm just kind of looking at the data here and seeing how much I could potentially buy this for. I'm actually going to be pretty stingy on this one and try to get it as cheap as possible. I bought this skin in the past for about 800 credits, so I know I can definitely get it for that, and that's what I'm going to do. But I am going to be using a technique here, which is just adding an extra 10 credits on top of that to ensure that I'm first in line, however I still actually get the item. So I kept scrolling through and I just kept looking for some items to pick up that is in my budget, and I found this headgear here for Jaeger called Dead Baron. Now I actually have bought this in the past before again, and I know that this can fluctuate in price heaps. Sometimes it's going for like 1,500 credits, and other times you can pick this up for like 1,000 on the dot. I've even seen this go to 2,000 credits before, so I'm definitely going to be buying that one there. Now I've actually never owned this item here, but it kind of intrigued me because I saw that it's actually on a rise in price right now. The reason why this charm here actually intrigues me is because there's way more purchase orders than there is sale orders, which means the demand for this is really high. So if I could get my hands on this, I could probably sell it for way more than what I actually bought it for. After analyzing the data for a little bit, I decide that 710 credits is a fair price, and then I move on to the next item. Now real quick, I actually do want to talk about my Discord server for just a second. Now you actually might want to listen to this, because this is actually your chance to win some free R6 credits. So basically I run the largest Rainbow Six Siege Marketplace Discord server with almost 2,000 members. If you use the Marketplace a lot, this server is a must-have, and you probably want to join up on this Discord server, as there's channels in there for you guys to share your best drip combinations for your operators. This server is a must-have if you need some advice on how to make R6 credits from the Marketplace. And like I did say earlier, I will be doing a giveaway in there, so link in description, and I will be doing a giveaway very soon. So I'm now moving on to buy the 4th item, and I actually found this Black Ice here for the Deagle. Now I've actually bought this a lot before in the past, and it's never failed to make me credits, so I will be buying it again here. As you can see, I actually ended up buying the Black Ice here for 710 credits, which is actually a pretty decent price, because if this goes up to about the 1,100 range, then I'll get a decent profit. Now I don't really regularly buy Dustland skins, and that's because there's not really a market for them. Usually I try to avoid items like this that don't really have a lot of sale orders and don't really have a lot of purchase orders either, and that's because no one really wants these on the marketplace. I'm not going to purposely buy something that's hard to sell, as it just wouldn't really make sense. However, something that I actually noticed about Dustland skins in particular recently is they never fluctuate in price. They always stay at a really stable price point, and that's because not a lot of people really own these. So I thought if I could get a Dustland skin for really cheap, I knew that the price point wasn't ever really going to change, and that's basically just a guaranteed profit. So I end up trying to get this one here for 1,380 credits, and I think that's a pretty fair trade for a very stable priced skin. If we actually go ahead and look at the overview of our account right now, you'll see we have 10 active orders, 5 are purchase orders, and 5 are sale orders. There's actually not anything to do right now since our active orders is full, so I'm just going to go ahead and wait till the next day. So as you can see here now, there's only 5 active orders, which means we actually sold everything. The bad thing about this though is that nothing actually bought, so what we can do is just go ahead and sell more and more items. It is kind of a shame that we didn't actually purchase anything yet, but I guess we just got to give it some time. It's not really notable worthy to show you the exact prices that I sold all these items for, so I'm just going to speed this up. Now I've actually sold everything that I possibly can on this account, so what we're going to go and do is just wait till tomorrow, and hopefully we purchased a few items. So it's been another entire day, and as you can see, a lot has changed on this account. We actually ended up selling everything that I did yesterday, and we actually purchased 2 new items on this account that are actually pretty decent buys. Now there is still 3 active items, so I don't really know what I'm going to do about those ones from now. I think I'm just going to let them sit, but we are once again just going to be selling all these random items on my account that kind of show up that I can just get rid of for a few extra credits. But since I do actually have some extra credits on me and I can buy some stuff as there's a purchase slot available, I think for now I'm just going to go ahead and browse through and look for some stuff to buy. Starting off here with Volcano. Volcano is something that I've flipped numerous times in the past and I've never had any troubles making credits on it. Now the thing about it at the moment is it's actually going down heaps. Volcano used to sell for like 900 credits and it's literally at the lowest it's ever been. So honestly this one's kind of risky because my plan is just to buy it anyway and hope that it goes back up to its kind of original price point, but we don't really know about that one, so I'm just going to be looking for more items in the meantime. I did put a purchase order on it though. Alright, so next item that I found here is this charm that honestly kind of looks like a diamond or a champion charm, and that's actually why I like to buy items like this. The entire value behind this item is the fact that people just like the way it looks, and that means people are willing to pay any price for it just to get it on their account, which is why I'm going to try to snipe it for a low and then sell it at a high. Now when we look at the overview here, we can see that isn't really much more to sell on my account as I only actually have 1 sale at the moment. We are buying stuff though, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow and hope that there's actually some stuff purchased on our account. Alright, so it's another whole entire day gone by, and as you can see here we have 1,509 credits, and that's because we sold that last order as well as we actually ended up purchasing Volcano. Now because I actually do have an extra purchase slot, I ended up finding this item here that is for the pretty much exact amount of credits that we have to spend. This uniform here for Ash is actually pretty rare and that's why it goes for so much, and this uniform can actually sell for 1,800 at times, so we're going to try to get it on the cheaper end. So we're going to go ahead and try to buy this one for 1,100 credits, and if we do get this one on our account then we're actually going to be making a decent profit here. So there's actually some really good news because it hasn't even been like 30 minutes and we already got this uniform. All the other items are still pending, however for some reason we actually ended up getting that uniform. Now my plan here is to actually knock off a few of these purchase orders as they're just not really working. I'm going to get rid of the purchase order on the charms because they just really didn't work out that well, but because I did only just recently place this purchase order and I still kind of want the charm, I think I'm just going to readjust the price a little bit. I think I was just feeling way too confident that I could snipe this for decently cheap, but to be honest it doesn't really seem reasonable, so I'm going to up the price from 160 to 210. That actually leaves us some credits on our account, so what I'm going to go ahead and do now is try to get this black ice here that I've actually been looking at for a while now. I don't really like to buy black ices too often, but it looks like this one kind of fluctuates and it's actually going up at the moment, so I feel like I might be able to get it at a low and actually sell it whilst it's on the rise. Now while we actually don't have too many, we still do have a few credits on this account, and I was looking at some esports skins and I found this one here that I've never owned before. Esports skins actually fluctuate like crazy, but they're kind of risky because sometimes they get added back into the shop actually in game and then you can't sell them anymore, so I don't really like to buy them too often. However, this one's been on the marketplace for ages, so I think it's a safe buy. After analyzing the price points for a while, I'm pretty sure that 115 is a pretty decent offer. All my purchase orders are full, so I'm gonna have to wait a little bit and then come back. So it hasn't actually been a full day, but it's been a few hours, and when I come back we actually ended up getting 2 items, which is really good. There's a few items here when I scroll down that I can just quick sell, so that's what I'm going to be doing real quick just to kind of spare a few extra credits. If you don't know the reason why I'm doing this, it's just because these items are going to be sitting here anyway, so I may as well just get the extra few credits from them. Now, it actually been a few days at this point where I just had these purchase orders sitting here and they weren't doing anything. It kind of seemed like they were at decent price points, so I didn't want to adjust them, but they just weren't doing anything and it felt like a waste of time. So I actually formulated a plan here because I was adding up some numbers and I think I actually may be able to buy a really cheap Glacier. If I cancelled all the purchase orders here on the free items that I had previously tried to buy, I'd be left with almost 3,000 credits. And while that's actually not enough to get a Glacier on its own, if I just keep selling all the stuff that I just have randomly sitting on my account, then it may actually be enough to get around to the 3,000 credit mark, which would be enough for an entry Glacier. I had a look at the Glaciers to see which ones I wanted to go for, and they were still kind of just outside of my range. There actually were a few Glaciers that did sell for about 3k, but it was rare that they did, and I didn't even have 3k yet. So for a few days, my account was just kind of left there trying to sell these random items so I could actually eventually get a Glacier. So what's actually crazy about this is probably the longest part of this video, and what I mean by that is, it literally took me about a week to try to sell all these just random stuff on my account. It took so long because there was just no purchase orders on all the random junk I had. And so basically every single day I'd log in, I'd see if anyone had any purchase orders on some of the stuff that I had, and most of the time it would be a no. It was only every now and again that it actually happened. So this part was just really slow and boring, and I was kind of questioning whether or not I should actually go for the Glacier, as I did still have a decent amount of credits on my account that I could be spending, but they were just sitting there doing nothing. It got to the point where I was literally just one sale off from getting 3,000 credits so that I could put down the snipe for the Glacier, and I was literally just getting so impatient, so I filled up my active orders with stuff that didn't have purchase orders on it, and I woke up the next day and I finally had 3k credits. I was pretty hyped after this, but here's the full receipt of all the stuff that I ended up selling, just so you guys have the full progression. And the thing about the Glacier is that I actually still hadn't decided the exact one that I wanted to buy yet. Obviously it wasn't going to be like MP5 or R4C Glacier, it's just going to be one of the crappy entry ones, but that's still a Glacier, which is really good. Now, because it had taken so long to actually get to this point, I didn't want to just put a snipe down on a Glacier and have it sit there for weeks, because I was kind of bored of that. So I wanted to be really sure on the one that I was going to buy, and I landed on this one here. It's the SASG shotgun, and it rarely goes for 3k, but it also goes for 4k, so it's high risk, high reward. I literally sat here for about a week waiting, and I was really just praying that I would get it. It had literally been about 4 whole days, and I was thinking maybe I should take the snipe off of it because it could just be a waste sitting there and I might not ever get it. And I was honestly really thinking about doing it until I woke up the next day and the Glacier was on my account. This is actually an insane milestone because we literally have a Glacier on our account and we started off this series with 0 credits. This isn't insane or anything because it is still a pretty cheap Glacier, but nonetheless it's a Glacier and it's a really good milestone. It actually has taken over 50 days to get to this point, which is kind of crazy because it feels like it's been a really long time, but to be fair, we did start off with 0 credits, so it's honestly been a pretty good progression so far. This is how our account is looking at the moment. We've actually got some banging items on there and we're going to be making so much credits in the next video. I actually got pretty curious and wanted to know the value of this account now, so I added up all of the items credit values and it came to just under 9,000, and that's including the 10% fee, so we actually made some crazy profit in this video. Make sure you guys like the video for the next part.